Good. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Workout Wednesday, my weekly podcast of everything health, wellness, fitness, lifestyle. And you can find me now on SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher. And believe me, you don't want to miss these episodes. I have some amazing guests on here. And once again, my name is Jeanette, just in case this is the first time you're listening to my podcast. And today I have the awesome privilege and pleasure of interviewing Chris Shah. He was an amazing co-author in our book, The Little Black Book of Fitness. And we hit #1 on Amazon. We are best-selling authors. This is a best-selling book. We hit #1 in 6 different categories. Yes. So it was amazing. This man has an amazing story. We're going to talk about his story in the book. But he is also the founder of Terra Nova Fitness, his own gym, and the author of My Fit Life Planner. So he is dedicated to getting busy people active in fitness, getting results. You're going to see how awesome this man is. I'm so excited to have him and share his story. And I will say, Chris, when I was going through the Little Black Book of Fitness and doing all the editing with Kyle Wilson and Takara, which is our editor, your story hit me so much. I was like, oh my gosh, this is an amazing story. And I think I even tweeted a few of your lines that you had in your chapter. And let me just read the title of his story. The title of his chapter is Eating Disorder to a Smile.
Yeah.
Wow. So that caught me right away because you hear a lot about more females talking about eating disorder versus a male going through that as well. And I think we always associate more women towards it versus men. So it got me right away to listen to your story and read your story. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And I want to read a few things that really caught me. You wrote, it finally got to the point that staying the same seemed more painful than changing.
Yes, that is true.
And I loved that line. So just tell us a little bit about your chapter, your story.
Wow, we're going down memory lane there. So this is when people hear this, they're quite surprised because everyone has their own story and the story isn't maybe what we think it is. So I actually had an eating disorder for many years, and it is true. It's mostly women will speak about it. I think guys go through a version of it. We're just not typically as forward about it. So I wanted to share this. Because a lot of our clientele, they're going through a lot of stories. And believe it or not, the more I've shared about the scars, all the times I've fallen down, it's made me more relatable. Because everyone is going through something, we're all kind of in the same storm, but we're just in different boats. And so, it took me a few years to get over this. So one of the things I did was just a lot of learning about it. It's something that consumed me. And again, it went to the point where it was too painful to stay the same. And so that's when my journey started. And part of it was just learning how to manage my mind. Right? Beforehand, it felt like there was a gas leak in my head. I didn't know where it was coming from. I didn't know the plumbing, all that good stuff. And then I needed to figure out, how do I manage my mind? And that's where the journey started. And I'm pretty good at managing my mind 80% of the time. We're all human 20% of the time. But I share that story with people because people look at us, you and I, we're trainers, and it's like they put us on a pedestal. And what you see on the front stage is that pedestal. Behind the stage, there's a lot of dirt, there's a lot of cracks. So sometimes, a lot of waves and stuff. Yeah. So I wanted to kind of bring the curtain and say, come look behind the pedestal. It might be pretty on this side, but look, it's pretty because of all the stuff I've been through.
Oh, I love that. And mindset is huge. And so I talk about mindset a lot. And you talked about breakthroughs, and you did 3 different breakthroughs. And you said breakthrough #1 is feeling present to become the watcher of any emotional disturbance.
Yes.
Breakthrough 2 is diversifying your identities to provide you with multiple emotional lives. And breakthrough number 3 is relying on the process to be your GPS guide.
Yes.
Those are awesome. Can you go into those a little bit more?
Yeah. I actually remember the moment when I was on the street when I felt present. I mean, truly present for the first time. And I realized I wasn't that eating disorder in that moment because I wasn't attached to that story, which is super important. And it was almost like getting a fresh air and I was drowning. And I said, whoa, something's here. And so learning that skill set to manage your emotions, I feel when you can't manage your emotions, you actually think you are the emotion. And so what this allowed me to do is, we have, these things.
I was like, woo!
Yeah, these things like, all right, we have our up times, we have our down times. I learned how to be the thing between those things as I'm watching those two things. And so that really started with being present, mindfulness, meditation. I've meditated pretty much every single day for maybe 7-8 years. Maybe in a year I'll miss 10 times. That was the biggest breakthrough. The other thing is I'm more than working out. I'm these other things. So I think a lot of people put all their emotional eggs in one basket. And if that basket breaks, they got no more eggs left. And I had to learn that I'm not just working out. I'm not just a personal trainer. I'm not just a business owner. I'm all these other things. That was super important. So if I failed managing one identity, I have 4 or 5 other identities that can pull me. So that was super useful in managing my head.
That's awesome. So like what brought you to all that though? I know, like was there any defining moment where you're just like, boom, can you remember one? Or, because I'm sure there's so many people out there and they're thinking like, what's it going to take for me to change or make the change? Was there one defining moment, or maybe there was a mixture of a couple of them?
There's a mixture of a few moments, but it was really working on the ego too. And it's so like blasé, but I think it was Freud or somebody who said is the more personal you think the issue is, the more universal it is. And that's not easy for the ego because a lot of times it's like, you don't understand, I'm unique. And so I think there's 2 types of ego. There's the ego that's, like the wrestler, look at me. And then there's the ego of poor me, poor me, poor me. And when I realized that for a moment, that was the turning point. It's like, wait a second, I'm not the only one. There's been millions of people that have gone through this and they've left, secrets and success and what I call treasure maps. These are books. And so I started reading books about people who went through this situation, even worse than me, and they laid out the map. And so that true breakthrough for me was there's these tools out in the world and you can learn how to use these tools to start building a new foundation in your head. And I think we're similar in that respect. Once we figured out that there's tools out there to get virtually whatever we want, it's an addiction. So I re-engineered that addiction to learn these tools. All right, how do I manage my emotions? All right, how do I focus on this? How do I help other people? And then it just becomes a game. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. So much gold in your chapter. I just want to read one more thing, and this was your tweetable because this was great. At rock bottom, it's a choice to feed the pain or seek hope and help. Once you realize the power of choice, life will never be the same.
Yeah, that's it. It's a choice. It really is a choice. And there's always somebody who's gone through something worse than you, and they've made that choice. And we know that logically. I think it's not till you hit that that leverage point where you choose. You can choose to look up. You can choose to be crawling. If you're going to crawl, at least look up so you can see where you're going. So everything is a choice. Everything is a choice.
And, I was like, how perfect is that right now too? Just what I read from your chapter, because it even coincides with what's going on in the world. and what
Yes.
we've experienced this year. And you as a gym owner, like, I mean, I sold my gym probably 3 years ago. And this year, my heart hurt for all my friends and all of you that
Yeah.
own gyms and businesses and studios. So, how was that for you and your clients? And how did you pivot and transition? And what's going on now?
Even briefly before the COVID, being a business owner, the top two businesses that fail: restaurants, gyms, restaurants, gyms, gyms, restaurants. They take turns. So even before it's a challenge, but I was coming off my best year actually in 2019. It was our best revenue year, it was the best margin year, it was the best, like behind us, the best results year. And then all of a sudden this hit, and we pivoted right away. My philosophy is to be paranoid. If I'm paranoid, I don't need to be paranoid. If I'm worrying, I don't need to worry. And so when this first thing came out, worst case scenario, I said this is going to be at least 3 months. And we pivoted. We did virtual right away. I think within a week and a half. And we've been pivoting ever since then. And the other thing is, one of the things you and I share is we're always in masterminds. We always have mentors. And so I have 8 or 10 other gym owners, and we can leverage each other's experience and view very quickly. It's been challenging because depending on what part of the country, you have different restrictions. And so in the Bay Area, we have the tightest restrictions. We've done virtual. We've also done virtual as we're doing outside. And so part of this, and now we're back inside and still doing virtual, is just jumping off the cliff and figuring it out on your way down.
Wow. And how did you see this affected your clients? Like, did this affect their entire motivation, their consistency? Did you see them continue to stay consistent, or what was it that you saw the most?
This was a challenging thing. I actually had to relearn a lot of things. So there was people that were early adopters that, would a lot of contact with us. And then there was people that are late adopters and they just went into hiding. And everyone deals with this situation a different way. So I really had to learn is, I think Seneca said we suffer more in our imagination and then in life. And so I really had to figure out, look, people are going through stuff. You have no idea what people are dealing with at home. So we had our early adopters. That was really important. And they gave us like overwhelming appreciation. They were so thankful because we were that rock in that storm. And then there's other people, quite frankly, we haven't heard from ever since.
Wow.
Yeah. And one of those things, like my mastermind group, we have about 160 years experience between us all. And so I'm able to leverage off that, their knowledge. Is this an incident that's unique to us? And it has not been. It's been with all the facilities, people that are clinging on to their facilities, people that are hiding in exile. And then there's people that are late adopters that once they see people working out, it's safer, they get more information, now they're coming back. But even more so, I look at it, it's a new season, it's a spin-off series. We have new characters in our TV show. And so that's the story I'm telling myself is it's a spin-off show. We have new clients, new members coming in. They are taking the place of the other ones that, they were great partners in the TV show, but sometimes a TV show lasts 2, 3, 4, 5 seasons, and then there's a spinoff. So I'm looking at this as a spinoff.
I love that analogy.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, there's no other choice. Spinoff series. Yeah.
Absolutely. So you're in San Francisco, the Bay Area, and is it still completely shut down to where?
It's funny. So San Francisco, my understanding is they're still not in their facilities. And they have never been in their facilities. I'm in San Mateo County. And so we've been able to go into our facility once for a period of time. And then we got kicked back out and now we're back in.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Good. And how is that with people coming back? Are they feeling comfortable? Are they feeling secure?
So It kind of looks like this. They come in for the first time and it's like going into a cave and like looking around and boom, okay. And then once they get a little proof, there's no, there's no poisonous snakes here. There's none of this, there's waterfalls, all these cool things. Then they start opening up. And so that's the initial part, is kind of getting proof again. And once they get proof again, it's off to the races. And believe it or not, they're enjoying it more than ever, especially during this time.
I would say they probably would, because we take so much for granted when it's the norm of life.
Yeah.
And then something like this happens, and we've all experienced this, where it's like, oh my gosh, I really need to appreciate this.
Yeah.
Or I didn't appreciate this person or this freedom that I had for this, or to be able to do this. And so I think it has really hit all of us to look at life and look at people in our lives that we took for granted, or things we took for granted.
Yeah. And, one of the things I've done here, because dealing with this at times, I've dealt with it really great, not so great. Certain times I've had certainty, certain times I'm driving through that fog and have no idea what I'm doing. But I always have the confidence I'm going to figure it out. That's kind of my guide there. Yeah, and you have to, and it's not just about me. There's a responsibility to my staff, to the people that entrust us. You have to have certainty even when you're not certain, and trust in yourself. And it's been a great learning process. I've innovated a lot here. We've gotten super creative. And so again, that spin-off series would not have happened without this. Would I prefer it not to happen? Of course. But I gotta use this to my advantage.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I love your wall back there behind you. So that's
yeah.
The results wall, I would say, right?
It's the results wall. We got to put a bunch more on there. But, reminding people and myself, like, this is pretty noble cause. Like, you go up here, there's people 25 pounds lost, more kept it off. There's people that write us letters talking about this was the catalyst where, quite frank, depressed, didn't want to leave the house. They go back to school, they go back to work. It's this catalyst, this on-ramp to actually them expressing themselves. So it's not just something that's transactional. And so that's what kept me going too, is we might be the one thing that kind of keeps people holding it together. You never know what's going on behind the scenes.
Absolutely. So what tip can you give people right now just to instill hope and perseverance?
It's unconventional advice that most trainers wouldn't give. It's have a system. It's not the magical fairy dust. You need a system when the mental weather in your head is overcast. Because I feel willpower and motivation, it's great. Use it when it's there, just like the sunny weather. If it's there, enjoy it. But as you know, it's going to rain, it's going to be windy, the weather's going to be crappy. Have some type of system, whether that's depending on a coach, a community, have some type of system so that when the mental weather is not good, you can execute a system. So it's not the sexiest answer, but damn it, it is the most productive answer you can have. Have a system. A lot of the people here, their system is they schedule their workout and they come regardless if they feel like it or not. And they always are grateful they came. So have some type of system that's outside your own mind.
Yes, absolutely. And it, creates habits. And so with that, what is your morning routine?
Ooh, it's changed over the years. Right now, wake up early. I'm waking up around 5, which is traditionally late for me. I've done the 3:30 to the 4:30. I did that for years.
That's right. That's in your chapter.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, he wakes up early.
Yeah. I don't do that now because we have less staff here. But I wake up, first thing I do is meditate. That's regardless of how I feel, whether I want to or not. The first thing I do is meditate. Even if it's for 2 minutes, it's a non-negotiable. Because if I don't meditate, I just don't have access to my best self. I have a quicker fuse. Somebody will see another side of me like, whoa. Meditation is a must. The other thing I do is I journal or read. or I listen to something. And then typically I'm coaching more now. And so I'm coaching in the morning. So that and coffee, but meditate, number one, non-negotiable. I'll write something, read something, or listen into something that kind of gets me in a good state, because there's other people coming in and my energy has got to be high. Right. Yeah.
And what's your form of meditation? Because as I lead meditations and stuff, people still ask me like, well, what's the difference in meditation? So what is your form of meditation in the morning?
Good question. I think the principle is the most important. It's very similar to what's the best diet. It's the one you adhere to. So I play around with it a lot. Right now I'm doing non-guided meditation, eyes closed, and I set a timer. I'll also do meditation, eyes open, because I want to be able to look at somebody and just be, hey, I'm here for you, and practice that. I also use guided, unguided. Sometimes I'll go out in nature. I switch it really depending on my mood too. So as long as you're doing it, I think it's super useful. It's like a diet, and I switch it all the time depending on my mood or if I'm getting those results I want. Yeah.
That's great. I love that. Because, everybody asks those questions like, what does meditation look like when they don't have a practice? I'm like, it can vary.
I think the most important thing is going into meditation, knowing the rules of the game and defining what success is. Super important, because what I hear too often, and it's just because there's a lack of clarity, just like I had, is, well, I can't stop thinking, so I'm not going to do it. That's not the goal of meditation. The goal of meditation is just to do it. I've been meditating 7, 8 years nonstop. There's some days where it's literally the best time of the entire day. And then there's other times where I just sat quietly and my brain ran wild and there was nothing I could do about it. And so that's the goal of meditation, is to do it. It's not to not have any thoughts. That's just, you got to be a monk to do that. And even then, that's the goal of meditation, just to do it. That's when I teach people meditation, that's how you judge success. Did you do it? Yes. Success. That's it.
Beautiful. Yes. I love this. And now I have some questions for you to answer. And I call these my life lesson questions. And of course, 2020, we all had this grand vision for 2020, setting our, resolutions, our vision, our goals, and a lot of that has changed, but we still have that. And I want people to still go back to that. So I have some questions for you to fill in the blank.
All right, shoot.
The first one is, I'm living my best life when?
I'm living my best life when I'm lost in the moment, when I'm present, where I'm actually enjoying the moment. I'm not negotiating things and stories in my head. And so that's either, being with my son. So he's 21.
Wow.
21. Yeah. A kid, and he like he's my brother sometimes.
I know, like, you do not have a 21-year-old.
Yeah, I do. So it's either that, like playing catch with him, messing around with him. It's when I'm coaching too is really awesome. There's times when I'm connecting with somebody, I'm serving here, and I can legit know that what I did, what I said, what I gave made a difference in their life. That's super important to me. I love that. The other thing is, there's a few times, I speak Russian a decent amount. So when I'm learning Russian, when I'm speaking to somebody and I'm able to have that conversation back and forth, that's so cool. And it's almost like I'm experiencing that emotion in a different emotion because it's a different language. But to answer your question, when I'm present, when I'm just enjoying the moment.
Love that. I love that. Your next one of my biggest aha moments was?
One of my biggest aha moments was, it's a good one. One of my biggest aha moments was,
I love these questions.
yeah, I mean, you have to give some like decent thought to that.
Right.
So this changes with every season of your TV show. So in the current season of my TV show, one of my aha moments is I don't have to be on all the time. Like, I'm a workaholic, I'm constantly giving, I can go all the time, and allowing myself those times to be lazy, not for lazy sake, but to just be, where I'm not trying to accomplish something. So I started coloring lately.
Isn't that the best?
It's amazing, actually.
It's meditative.
Super meditative. The past me would have been, okay, I got this to do, I got this to do. It's like Rome wasn't built in a day. Very important. Rome didn't fall in a day.
Right.
So I'm going to let Rome be for a day. I do that once a week now.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I love that. We're going to have to Zoom color together one day.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. There's a whole genre of coloring books for adults. So I'm getting it. Yeah. And don't start with crayons. Do the color pencils. Those are like the little starter tip there.
They are cool.
Yeah.
Okay, your next one. What I know for sure is.
It's a paradox, but what I know for sure is I don't know for sure. And I like that paradox and being able to exist in it. It's one of those things. If I'm worried, I don't need to be worried. If I'm not worried, I need to be worried. So what I know for sure is I don't know for sure. And that keeps me on my intellectual toes, if you will.
Like it. I like it. And what has been your biggest takeaway from 2020 so far?
It is be grateful for the things that are going right. And a very tactical way to express this is I needed to create a list of more ways to feel happy. And so I think we all do this. We have this nice long list of all these ways we can feel crappy. This. It's like, all right, where's your list on ways to feel happy? And that was the biggest takeaway, especially being a business owner during this time. I had to create a list of more ways to feel happy. Coloring was one of those. So I want to add some more stuff. So that's my biggest takeaway. Finding more ways to be happy, and it's the smallest things. It's easy to be unhappy. Easy. So make that list of ways to find happiness, drawing, go in the park, all that good stuff.
I love it. That is so awesome. Thank you so much. Are there any other tips you have that you would want to share with our audience?
Yeah. Whenever things have been going right in my life, I've been doing journaling. It doesn't matter what system you use for goals. There's so many out there. They all kind of work, just like a diet. But get those thoughts out of your head and put them on paper. It's kind of like putting that mental kid that's having a tantrum and then putting it in that crib so it calms down. And so I get those thoughts on my head and I write them down. And whatever system you use, do you. But get it out of your head, put it on a journal, and you'd be surprised how that really works. Yeah.
Journaling is the best.
Yeah. I get journals for like 2 decades, and I look back at them. It's like, oh my God, like, I can't believe I thought that way. Wow, I did that. That's amazing. So it's awesome.
Oh, thank you so much. You gave some amazing golden nuggets. And please make sure, you probably can't see it, there it is.
There it goes.
To read his chapter, get the Little Black Book of Fitness on Amazon. You can still get it, Kindle or the book. And Chris, how can we follow you? How can people get what you also wrote? You wrote what was it, a life book or a fitness book?
Yeah. It's an actual planner, so which is cool. This was one of the hardest things I ever did. It kind of took some a lot of life force, but it's totally worth it. So it's basically on how to build sustainable habits.
I want one.
Yeah, I'll send you one. I'll send you one. And so this is awesome. It lasts at least 3 months. And so it's learning how to build systems and keeping track of your progress and results. You can actually go, I'll share the gym. It's Terra Nova Fitness, Terra Nova Fitness on Instagram. And you can find some links to the personal stuff. I post quick little videos pretty much every single day. So it's, bite-sized information that takes 15 seconds, and you can use it in your life too as well.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, Jeanette.
Thank you again. Absolutely. Thank you for being a guest. And I would love to have you on even more, and we can talk even about your travels and more stuff like that, because you're Mr. Traveler. Yeah.
Yeah. Lots of stories there. So I love your energy. I love what you do. Congrats on all the stuff that's going on behind the scenes that we talked about before we went live. That's awesome.
Thank you.
And I love hanging out with people that smile too. It's like, it's awesome.
Infectious, right?
Yes. Awesome.
Oh, and it's so good to connect. I'm like, I wish I would have done this sooner. Now I think I'm going to try it and go back to a bunch of all the authors and get everybody on, and have people really share, because now is even more of an important time to share and support and encourage one another, that we've all been there, we're going through it together, but we can conquer and we can make it through.
We're in the same storm, just different boats, so let's do it.
Oh, well, thank you so much. And everybody, please enjoy Workout Wednesdays every week. And once again, thank you, Chris.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.